He disguised himself as a janitor in his own company, not because he wanted to, because he had to know the truth. For 18 months, Marcus Chen had watched caregivers come and go through his daughter's life like seasons, 23 of them, 23 professionals who looked at his little girl and saw a medical case instead of a child. So when the 24th arrived, a woman with worn shoes and tired eyes, who cleaned offices at night to pay for nursing school, Marcus did something desperate. He created a fake identity, applied for a janitorial position at his own corporation, and started showing up at his penthouse during the day, not as the billionaire CEO, as Miguel Rodriguez, the man who emptied trash cans and mopped floors. He needed to see what really happened when he wasn't there, what people did when they thought no one important was watching, because his daughter Emma, his 8-year-old daughter who hadn't walked since the accident, deserved better than what money could buy. She deserved someone who actually cared. And what Marcus discovered hiding behind a mop bucket and a fake mustache would bring the most powerful man in San Francisco to his knees. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me take you back to where it all started, back to the night everything changed. The accident happened on a Tuesday. Marcus remembered because Tuesdays were supposed to be safe, predictable. The day he'd take Emma to her piano lessons, then stop for ice cream at that place on Divisadero, where she always ordered mint chip and he always pretended to steal a bite. But that Tuesday, a distracted driver ran a red light at 45 miles per hour. Marcus's Audi flipped 3 times. He walked away with bruises. Emma didn't walk away at all. Spinal cord injury, incomplete, T12 vertebra. The doctors used clean, clinical language to explain why his daughter's legs wouldn't move anymore, why an 8-year-old girl who'd been taking ballet for 3 years would spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. There's a 5% chance of recovery, the neurologist said, not unkindly. But Mr. Chen, you need to prepare yourself for the likelihood that this is permanent. Marcus didn't accept it, couldn't accept it. He was Marcus Chen, the man who'd built a tech empire from nothing, who'd turned a college dropout's idea into a $15 billion company. He solved impossible problems for a living, so he threw money at the problem. The best physical therapists in the country, weekly consultations with specialists from Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, Switzerland, experimental treatments that cost more than most people's houses, a custom wheelchair that could do everything except the one thing that mattered, make his daughter whole again. 18 months, $500,000. And Emma still sat in that chair, still looked at him with those dark eyes that held questions he couldn't answer. Why can't I dance anymore, Daddy? Why did this happen to me? Will I ever be normal again? Marcus lived in a penthouse that touched the San Francisco sky, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the bay, 11,000 square feet of marble and glass and emptiness. It had cost $28 million. Emma's room alone was bigger than most apartments. Hospital bed disguised as regular furniture, lift system hidden in the ceiling, bathroom with rails and emergency buttons. Money couldn't buy what she needed most. It couldn't buy her mother back. Jennifer had left 6 months after the accident, packed her things while Emma was at physical therapy, left a note on the kitchen counter next to the divorce papers. I can't watch her suffer. I can't watch you destroy yourself trying to fix what can't be fixed. I'm sorry. Marcus found Emma that evening, sitting in her wheelchair by the window, holding her mother's favorite scarf. Mom's not coming back, is she? He wanted to lie, wanted to promise that Jennifer would change her mind, that their family would be whole again, but his daughter deserved honesty, even when it hurt. No, sweetheart, she's not. Emma nodded slowly, her small fingers gripping the fabric. It's because of me, because I'm broken. You're not broken. Yes, I am, Daddy. Her voice was so quiet, so certain. And now you're stuck with me. Marcus pulled her into his arms and held her while she cried, but he didn't cry, couldn't cry, because if he started, he might never stop. And Emma needed him to be strong, to be the one person who wouldn't fall apart, who wouldn't leave. So he buried his grief somewhere deep and dangerous, went back to work, built bigger, earned more, proved to the world that Marcus Chen was still in control. But control was an illusion, and his daughter was slipping away from him one silent day at a time. The caregivers started coming 3 weeks after Jennifer left. The first one lasted 2 days. She was kind enough, competent enough, but Marcus saw the way she looked at Emma, with pity. Like his daughter was already gone, already defined by what she'd lost, instead of who she was. He fired her on the spot. The second caregiver made it almost a month. Then Marcus came home early and found her on her phone, scrolling through social media while Emma sat alone staring at the wall. "She's fine," the woman said defensively. "She has everything she needs. Everything except attention, everything except someone who cared." She was gone by morning. Number 3 stole jewelry. Number 4 leaked information about Emma's condition to a gossip blog. Tech billionaire's daughter may never walk again. Number 5 lasted 3 days before admitting she didn't sign up for this level of emotional heaviness. By number 7, Marcus stopped learning their names. They were employees, temporary, doomed to fail. By number 12, something inside him broke. He installed cameras everywhere, living room, kitchen, Emma's bedroom, therapy room, 24 cameras, all feeding to an app on his phone and a monitor system in his home office. Motion sensors, audio recording, everything short of biometric scanning. His head of security, David, tried to talk him out of it. "Boss, this is a lot, even for you. I need to know what happens when I'm not here. You can't watch her 24/7, you'll drive yourself crazy." Marcus looked at him with hollow eyes. "I'm already crazy, David. I just need to know she's safe." So the cameras went in. And every night after Emma fell asleep, Marcus would sit in his office with a glass of bourbon he never finished, watching hours of footage, watching caregivers who moved through the motions, who followed protocols, who did their jobs without ever actually seeing his daughter. He made a list, 23 caregivers in 18 months, each one a different kind of failure. Number 8, forgot Emma's medication twice in 1 week. Number 11, called Emma sweetie in that condescending tone people use with children they think can't understand. Number 16, stood Emma up for physical therapy because she had a headache. Number 21, made Emma feel guilty for needing help. "Again? I just took you to the bathroom 20 minutes ago." Marcus fired them all, sometimes within days, sometimes within hours. He knew he was getting a reputation, the impossible boss, the paranoid father, the man who'd never be satisfied. He didn't care. Emma deserved better than good enough. But by caregiver 23, Marcus was exhausted. The agency was running out of candidates, and Emma had stopped talking almost completely. She'd answer direct questions with 1 or 2 words, but the girl who used to fill the penthouse with chatter and laughter had gone silent. "Maybe," David suggested carefully, "you need to try a different approach." "What approach? I've tried everything." "Maybe stop looking for perfect. Start looking for present." Marcus didn't know what that meant, but he was desperate enough to try anything. So when the agency called about candidate 24, a woman named Maria Santos who had no formal caregiving experience but came highly recommended by community references, Marcus agreed to an interview. He expected another failure, another person who'd see Emma's wheelchair before they saw Emma, another name to add to his list. What he got was something else entirely. Maria Santos arrived at 10 in the morning on a Thursday, wearing clothes that had been washed so many times the colors had faded to soft pastels. Her shoes, practical flats from a discount store, were worn at the heels but polished clean. She carried a small canvas bag and nothing else. Marcus met her in the foyer. His first impression, tired, not in a defeated way, in a way that said she worked hard for everything she had and never complained about it. "Miss Santos, thank you for coming." "Mr. Chen." Her handshake was firm, her English carried the gentle rhythm of Tagalog underneath. "Thank you for seeing me." They sat in his office. Marcus had her file open on his desk. 29 years old. Came to the States from the Philippines 7 years ago, currently cleaning offices at Chen Industries 6 nights a week while studying for nursing certification. No previous caregiving positions except taking care of her grandmother before she passed. Your resume is unconventional. I know. Maria met his eyes directly. Not defiant, but not apologetic either. I don't have the credentials the others probably had, but I know how to care for people. Real care, not just following a medical chart. Emma has complex needs. I read the information your agency sent. Incomplete spinal cord injury, T12 vertebra. Requires assistance with mobility and daily activities. I understand the medical part, Mr. Chen. What I want to understand is Emma. Marcus paused. In 18 months, no one had asked about Emma first. They'd asked about salary, schedule, responsibilities, medical requirements, and emergency protocols. What do you want to know? What does she love? What makes her smile? What did she dream about before the accident? Marcus felt something catch in his throat. She wanted to be a dancer, ballet. She was good, really good. And now she doesn't talk about it, doesn't talk about much of anything. Maria nodded slowly. Grief is loud even when it's silent, especially when it's silent. They talked for another 30 minutes. Marcus asked the standard questions: availability, references, salary, expectations. Maria answered everything calmly, clearly, no embellishment, no false promises. Finally, Marcus asked the question he'd asked all 23 before her. Why do you want this position? Maria was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was soft but steady. My grandmother raised me. When I was 15, she had a stroke, paralyzed on her left side. The doctors said to put her in a facility, said I was too young to care for her properly, but I couldn't do that. She'd given me everything. How could I give her to strangers? She looked down at her hands. I took care of her for 3 years, learned everything, how to help her move, how to keep her dignity when she needed help with private things, how to make her laugh when she wanted to cry. She died when I was 18, and before she did, she told me that the greatest gift we can give someone isn't to make their pain go away. It's to sit with them in their pain so they don't have to be alone with it. Maria looked up at Marcus. Your daughter is in pain, Mr. Chen, not just physical pain, soul pain, and I think maybe she's been alone with it for too long. Marcus couldn't speak. This stranger had just described exactly what he'd been too afraid to admit, that Emma wasn't just injured, she was lonely, grieving, lost, and he didn't know how to reach her. When can you start? Maria smiled, small, genuine. Tomorrow, if that works for you. Tomorrow's fine, I should warn you. Marcus gestured at the cameras in the corners of his office. I have surveillance throughout the penthouse. For security, for Emma's safety, you'll be on camera at all times. He expected hesitation, offense. Every caregiver before her had bristled at being watched. Maria just nodded. That's fine. If it helps you feel Emma's safe, that's what matters. That should have been the end of the interview, but Marcus found himself asking one more question. Miss Santos, why are you cleaning offices at night if you're trying to become a nurse? Because nursing school is expensive, and my mother back home needs medicine I can only buy with American money. So I work nights, study between shifts, sleep when I can. She said it simply, statement of fact, not plea for sympathy. The salary we're offering, it's substantial. You could quit the night work. I could, but I won't. Not until I'm sure this position will last. She met his eyes again. I've learned that promises from wealthy people are sometimes as fragile as the people they're meant to help. Marcus almost smiled. She was calling him out, politely, accurately. That's fair. I've had 23 caregivers before you. None of them worked out. Then I'll be the 24th who does. Or I'll be the 24th who doesn't. But either way, while I'm here, I'll care for your daughter like she's my own. That's my promise. The next morning, Maria Santos walked into Emma's life, and nothing would ever be the same. Marcus watched through the cameras as Maria entered Emma's room for the first time. Emma sat in her wheelchair by the window, her usual position, staring out at the city, present but absent, there but gone. Maria didn't rush in with bright energy and false cheer. She stood in the doorway for a long moment, just watching. Then she walked slowly into the room and sat on the floor, not in a chair, not standing over Emma, but on the floor, at Emma's level. "Hi, Emma. My name is Maria. Your dad asked me to spend time with you." Emma didn't turn, didn't acknowledge her presence at all. Maria didn't push. She just sat there, silent, present. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Marcus watched the camera feed from his office downtown, phone in hand, ready to intervene if this became another disaster. But something strange happened. After 15 minutes of sitting in silence, Maria started humming. Soft. A melody Marcus didn't recognize. Not a children's song. Something older, something that sounded like a lullaby from another world. Emma's shoulders relaxed slightly. Maria kept humming, and then, barely above a whisper, she began to sing, words in Tagalog. Marcus couldn't understand them, but he understood the feeling underneath. Comfort, safety, the sound of someone who knew what it meant to hurt. Emma turned her head, just slightly, just enough to see Maria from the corner of her eye. Maria smiled, not at Emma, just smiled like the singing itself made her happy. "That's my grandmother's song," Maria said softly, switching back to English. "She sang it to me when I was sad, when things felt too big to carry alone. Want to know what it means?" Emma didn't answer, but she didn't turn away either. Even in darkness, even in stillness, the heart that waits will find its morning. Maria's voice was gentle. "Your grandmother believed that, even when things were really hard. Even when she couldn't move her arm anymore, couldn't walk, she'd sing this song and smile, like she knew something the rest of us hadn't figured out yet." Silence. Then, so quiet Marcus almost missed it. What did she know? Emma's voice. The first word she'd spoken to a caregiver in 3 weeks. Maria didn't react with surprise or excitement, just answered honestly. That being broken doesn't mean being finished, that sometimes we have to fall apart before we can become who we're really meant to be. Marcus sat in his office staring at the screen, his heart pounding. Emma turned her wheelchair to face Maria fully. "I'm never going to dance again. Maybe not ballet, not the way you did before, but Emma?" Maria leaned forward slightly. "There are 1,000 ways to dance. Some people dance with their feet. Some people dance with their hearts. Just because something changed doesn't mean the music stopped." A tear slid down Emma's cheek. "Everyone keeps trying to fix me, like I'm a problem that needs solving." "You're not a problem." Maria's voice was firm. "You're a person, and persons don't need fixing. They need loving." That first day, Maria broke every protocol Marcus had established. She didn't follow the strict therapy schedule. Instead, she asked Emma what she wanted to do. Emma said she wanted to go outside. So Maria took her. She didn't use the specialized transfer equipment. She asked Emma how she preferred to move, then helped her the way Emma requested. She didn't talk about Emma's limitations. She asked about Emma's interests. They talked about books, about the ocean, about whether stars were actually wishes waiting to come true. By the end of that first day, Emma had spoken more words than she'd spoken in the previous month combined. Marcus watched all of it, watched this stranger with worn shoes and tired eyes do what $500,000 in specialists couldn't do. She reached his daughter. "If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you." That night, after Emma was asleep, Marcus called Maria into his office. "You didn't follow any of the protocols I sent." Maria stood straight. "No, sir, I didn't." "Why not?" "Because protocols are designed for cases. Your daughter isn't a case. She's a child who needs to feel like herself again, not like a medical condition." Marcus should have been angry, should have fired her on the spot like he'd fired so many others. But instead, he heard himself asking, "What are you going to do tomorrow?" "Whatever Emma needs. Maybe we'll read. Maybe we'll sit in silence. Maybe we'll talk about what it feels like to lose something you loved." Maria paused. "Mr. Chen, with respect, I'm not here to follow your plan. I'm here to help your daughter heal, and healing doesn't happen on a schedule." She left before he could respond. Marcus sat alone in his office, watching the cameras show his daughter sleeping peacefully for the first time in weeks. And he made a decision that would change everything. He was going to find out who Maria Santos really was, what she did when no one was watching, whether her kindness was genuine or just another performance. He was going to become someone else, someone invisible, someone who could see the truth. Tomorrow, Marcus Chen would disappear, and Miguel Rodriguez, the janitor, would take his place. Marcus Chen became Miguel Rodriguez on a Monday morning. The transformation was easier than it should have been. Contact lenses to change his eye color from dark brown to hazel, a cheap black wig from a costume shop, clothes from Goodwill, faded jeans, a gray work shirt with Chen Industries maintenance stitched on the pocket, scuffed work boots, a fake mustache that itched but looked surprisingly real. He practiced the accent with a dialect coach for 3 days. Not too heavy, not cartoonish, just enough to sound like someone who'd learned English as a second language and worked with his hands instead of signing multi-million-dollar deals. The security team thought he'd lost his mind. "Boss," David said carefully, "this is insane. You're the CEO. You can't just mop floors in your own building." "I can, and I will. Why not just watch the cameras like you've been doing?" Marcus looked at him with hollow eyes. "Because cameras show me what Maria does. They don't show me who she is. I need to see her when she thinks no one important is watching, when she's just herself. And if someone recognizes you, they won't. Miguel Rodriguez is nobody. That's the point." The janitorial position was easy to create. Chen Industries employed over 2,000 people. Adding one more name to the maintenance roster was nothing. Miguel Rodriguez, hired through a temp agency, assigned to the executive residence cleaning rotation. The first morning, Marcus stood outside his own penthouse door, wearing someone else's face. His hands shook as he knocked. Maria answered. She looked tired. She'd worked her night shift at Chen Industries downtown, then come straight here, but she smiled when she saw him. "Hello? You must be the new maintenance person?" "Si, Miguel. Mr. Chen, he say there is work here today." Marcus kept his voice low, uncertain, practiced. "Come in. I'm Maria, Emma's caregiver. The main elevator machinery room needs some attention, I think. And maybe you could check the disposal. It's been making a strange sound." She showed him where things were, then disappeared. Into Emma's room. Miguel Rodriguez was dismissed. Invisible. Exactly what Marcus needed to be. He worked slowly, deliberately, mopped the marble floors in the foyer, cleaned windows that didn't need cleaning, fixed a door hinge that wasn't actually broken, all of it giving him an excuse to stay close, to watch, to listen, and what he saw changed everything. Maria's second week with Emma looked nothing like the protocols Marcus had spent months developing. No structured therapy sessions at 9, 11, and 2, no strict medication schedule with medical documentation, no clinical approach to managing the patient. Instead, Maria did something radical. She treated Emma like a child. Marcus watched from the kitchen, mopping the same section of floor for 20 minutes, as Maria spread a blanket on the living room carpet and brought out a puzzle. 1,000 pieces, Maria announced cheerfully. "Ocean scene, probably impossible. Want to try anyway?" Emma looked skeptical. "I can't sit on the floor." "Sure you can. Want help getting down there? It'll hurt to get back up. Then we'll go slow, and if it hurts too much, we'll stop." "But Emma," Maria knelt beside the wheelchair, "you can't protect yourself from everything that might hurt. Sometimes you have to choose, safe but lonely, or brave but alive." Emma stared at her for a long moment, then quietly, "Okay." Maria helped Emma transfer from the wheelchair to the floor. It took time. Emma's legs couldn't support her weight, so Maria essentially lowered her down carefully, protecting her back, moving at Emma's pace. Once Emma was settled on the blanket, Maria sat across from her and dumped out the puzzle pieces. "Okay, strategy. Do we start with edges or just chaos?" "Edges," Emma said. "Obviously." "Obviously," Maria grinned. "I like working with professionals." They worked on that puzzle for 2 hours. Miguel mopped, dusted, organized the pantry, stayed invisible, watched everything. He watched Emma's face change, the tight, closed expression softening, the way she started to talk without being prompted, about a book she'd read, about missing her friend from school, about wondering if her mom ever thought about her. Maria never flinched, never deflected, just listened and validated and kept sorting puzzle pieces. "My mom left because I'm broken," Emma said it matter-of-factly, like she was commenting on the weather. "No," Maria's voice was firm. "Your mom left because she was broken. That's not the same thing. But if I could still walk." "Emma, look at me." Maria waited until Emma met her eyes. People who love you don't leave when things get hard. People who leave were already halfway gone before the hard thing happened. Your accident didn't break your family. It just showed you where the cracks already were. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Then why does it feel like my fault?" "Because you're 8 and you don't know yet that adults' choices aren't our children's responsibilities." Maria reached across the puzzle and took Emma's hand. "Your mom's pain was her own. Her leaving was her choice. And none of it, not one single piece, was your fault." Emma cried. Maria held her hand and let her cry. Didn't try to fix it, didn't offer empty platitudes, just stayed. Miguel Rodriguez stood in the kitchen with a dustcloth in his hand, watching through the doorway, and felt his chest crack open. This woman, this stranger who made $15 an hour and worked 2 jobs and had every reason to be too tired for this kind of emotional labor, she was giving his daughter what he couldn't. Truth, presence, permission to feel. The physical therapy started on day 9. Marcus arrived as Miguel to fix the air conditioning vent in the therapy room. Emma was on her mat. Maria sat beside her. "Okay, we're going to try something today." "More impossible things?" Emma asked, but there was humor in it now. Small, but there. "Exactly. I'm going to move your legs like you're walking. Your brain needs to remember the pattern." The doctor said it's unlikely, not impossible. There's a difference." Maria positioned herself at Emma's feet. "Your spinal cord is injured, not destroyed. Which means there are still connections, still pathways. They're just sleeping. We're going to wake them up." "That's not how it works." "How do you know? Have you tried?" Emma was quiet. "No." "Then let's try." Maria began moving Emma's legs slowly, deliberately. Left leg bends, extends, right leg bends, extends. The motion of walking repeated over and over. Miguel watched from his position near the vent, watched Maria's face, focused, patient, believing, watched Emma's face, uncertain, hopeful, scared. "Feel that?" Maria asked softly. "Your legs remember, your muscles remember. We just have to remind them over and over until they believe it too. This is going to take forever. Then we'll take forever. I'm not going anywhere." They did this for 45 minutes. The same motion, the same pattern, Maria's hands guiding Emma's legs through the walking motion again and again and again. When they finished, Emma was exhausted. Maria helped her back into the wheelchair. "Good work today." "We didn't accomplish anything. We did the most important thing." Maria smiled. "We showed up. We tried. We didn't give up. That's everything." After Emma went to her room to rest, Miguel approached Maria in the kitchen. She was making tea, her hands shaking slightly from the physical exertion. "Miss Maria?" She turned. "Miguel, hi. Everything okay with the vent?" C is fixed now. I have question. Is okay? Of course. Miguel kept his voice uncertain, his English broken. The girl, Emma, she cannot walk, yes? Maria's expression softened. Right now, no, she can't walk right now. But you move her legs, like teaching. Why? If doctors say is no possible? Maria was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that Miguel Rodriguez would remember forever. Because doctors don't know everything. They know statistics. They know what usually happens, but they don't know Emma. They don't know how strong she is, how much fight she still has inside her. Maria poured hot water over her tea bag. And even if they're right, even if she never walks again, at least she'll know someone believed in her enough to try. That matters, Miguel. Being believed in. It matters more than almost anything. Miguel nodded slowly. You are a good person. I'm just a person who showed up. That's all any of us can do. She took her tea and walked away, left Miguel standing in the kitchen, his throat tight, his eyes burning. Marcus Chen had accomplished impossible things in his life. Built companies, closed deals, solved problems that industry experts said couldn't be solved. But he'd never fought for his daughter the way this woman was fighting. He'd accepted the diagnosis, accepted impossible, given up before the war even started. And Maria Santos, who had nothing, was doing what his millions couldn't buy. She was giving Emma hope. Week 3 brought the first miracle. Marcus was cleaning the living room windows when it happened. Emma was on her mat. Maria was doing the walking pattern exercise. Left leg, right leg, the motion they'd repeated hundreds of times now. And then Emma's toe moved, not from Maria pushing it, on its own. Maria stopped, stared at Emma's foot. Did you just... I felt something. Emma's voice was breathless. In my leg, like tingling. Do it again. Try to move your toe. Emma's face scrunched in concentration. Her whole body tensed with effort. Her toe flexed, just slightly, just barely, but it moved. Maria's hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, Emma, you just... I moved it. Emma's voice cracked. I moved my toe. You moved your toe. Maria was crying now, laughing and crying at the same time. Baby, you moved your toe. They hugged. Emma sitting, Maria kneeling, both of them crying and laughing and shaking. Miguel Rodriguez stood by the window, dust cloth forgotten, tears streaming down his face beneath the fake mustache. His daughter had just done something the doctors said would never happen, and he'd almost fired the woman who made it possible. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He lay in a hotel room, couldn't risk being seen entering his own penthouse without the Miguel disguise, and watched footage on his phone. He went back, week by week, day by day, watched Maria's patient work from the beginning. The singing, the floor puzzles, the honest conversations, the leg movements repeated endlessly, and Emma's transformation, the way she'd gone from silent and closed to talking and laughing, the way hope had crept back into her eyes, the way she'd started to believe again. Marcus opened his laptop and searched, neuroplasticity, spinal cord injury children. Articles flooded the screen, medical journals, research studies, case reports, early intervention in pediatric incomplete spinal cord injuries shows remarkable recovery potential. Repetitive motor pattern training can stimulate neural pathway development. Children demonstrate extraordinary neuroplastic capacity when given consistent, targeted rehabilitation. Everything Maria was doing, the leg movements, the sensory engagement, the emotional support, it was all there, evidence-based, proven, possible, and Marcus had never looked. Not once in 18 months had he researched beyond that first devastating prognosis. He'd accepted unlikely as impossible and stopped fighting. But Maria hadn't stopped. Maria had looked at his daughter and said, "You're worth fighting for." Marcus closed his laptop and sat in the darkness of his hotel room. Tomorrow he'd go back as Miguel. Keep watching, keep learning, because something was building in that penthouse, something that looked impossibly like hope, and he needed to see where it led. Week 5, Wednesday afternoon. Marcus was scheduled to be Miguel again, but a crisis at Chen Industries downtown demanded the CEO's attention. He sat in his corner office, 28th floor, signing documents and taking calls, but his mind was in that penthouse, with Emma, with Maria. His phone buzzed, motion alert from the home system. Marcus frowned. The alert was set to notify him of unusual activity. He opened the app. Living room camera. Emma's wheelchair sat against the wall, empty. Marcus's heart stopped. He switched cameras frantically. Therapy room, empty. Kitchen, empty. Where was she? Where was Emma? Then he found them. Hallway camera. Outside Emma's bedroom, Emma was standing. Her small hands gripped the parallel bars Maria must have installed. When had she installed those? Her legs shook violently. Her face was scrunched in concentration and effort and determination. Maria knelt in front of her, arms outstretched but not touching, letting Emma balance herself. "That's it, baby, you're doing it. You're standing." "I'm shaking so much." "Shaking is okay. Shaking means your muscles are working, means they're waking up." Maria's voice was steady, encouraging. "Can you hold it for 5 more seconds?" Emma nodded, her jaw clenched. Maria counted slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. "Okay, that's enough. Beautiful work." Marcus watched Maria help Emma back into the wheelchair, watched his daughter's face, exhausted, proud, alive. Then Maria did something that made Marcus's breath catch. She stepped back, positioned herself about 8 feet away in the hallway. "Emma, yeah? I think you're ready to try something." Emma's eyes widened. "Walking? Just a few steps. We'll use the bars for support. If it's too much, we stop immediately." "The doctors said—" "I know what the doctors said. But Emma, your toes are moving. Your ankles are getting stronger. Your core is engaging. The impossible is already happening. Let's see how far it goes." Emma stared at her, fear and hope warring on her face. "What if I fall?" "Then I catch you. That's why I'm here." Silence. Then, "Okay." Marcus sat frozen in his office chair. His hands gripped his phone so hard it hurt. Maria helped Emma stand again at the parallel bars. Emma's hands white-knuckled on the rails, her legs trembling. "You're going to move your right foot forward, just a little. Slide it if you need to." Emma's face contorted with effort. Her whole body shook, but her right foot moved, slid forward 6 inches, maybe less. 1 step. "Yes," Maria shouted. "Emma, that was a step, a real step." "I did it?" Emma's voice was breathless, disbelieving. "You did it. Can you do one more? Left foot this time?" Emma's face set with determination. She lifted her left foot, actually lifted it, not just slid it, and moved it forward. 2 steps. Maria burst into tears. "Baby, you're walking. You're actually walking." "I'm walking." Emma was crying now too. "Maria, I'm walking." "I knew it. I knew you could. I knew." Emma took another step, then another. 4 steps total before her legs gave out. Maria caught her, held her up, both of them crying and laughing and shaking. Marcus sat in his office, staring at his phone screen, and his whole world shattered. His phone slipped from his hand, clattered on the desk. He didn't pick it up. His daughter was walking. His paralyzed daughter, the one doctors said would never stand, never take steps, never recover. She was walking. And Maria had done it. This woman who cleaned offices at night and made $15 an hour and had nothing except faith and patience and love, she'd accomplished what $500,000 in specialists couldn't touch. Marcus stood up. His legs felt weak. His chest hurt. He walked to the window of his office, looked out at San Francisco spread below him, and something inside him broke completely. All the control he'd been clinging to, all the walls he'd built, all the fear he'd been hiding behind. It cracked open like an egg, and what came out was grief and shame and overwhelming gratitude and something that felt like hope but hurt like regret. He'd been so busy trying to manage his daughter's condition that he'd stopped seeing his daughter. He'd been so afraid of losing more that he'd stopped being present for what remained. He'd accepted defeat because fighting meant risking hope. And hope, when you've lost everything, feels dangerous. But Maria hadn't been afraid. Maria had looked at impossible and said, "Not today." Marcus pressed his forehead against the cold glass and wept. Not quiet tears, not controlled grief. This was something deeper, 18 months of buried pain, of fear, of failures he'd never admitted. His assistant knocked on the door. "Mr. Chen, your 2 o'clock is here." "Cancel it." "Sir, cancel everything. Today, tomorrow, the rest of the week. Cancel it all." "But the board meeting—" "I don't care about the board." Marcus turned to face her, his face wet with tears. "I don't care about deals or meetings or any of it. My daughter is walking. Do you understand? My daughter is walking, and I almost missed it." He grabbed his jacket and walked out, drove home like a man possessed, burst through the penthouse door at 3:15 in the afternoon, no disguise, no pretense, just himself. "Emma, Maria!" They were in the living room, Emma in her wheelchair, exhausted from her efforts, Maria beside her, holding her hand. Both of them looked up when Marcus ran in. "Dad!" Emma's voice was confused. "What are you—" Marcus dropped to his knees in front of his daughter's wheelchair, grabbed her hands. "You walked." His voice broke. "Emma, you walked." Emma's eyes widened. "How did you—" "I saw it. I watched on the cameras. And sweetheart, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I wasn't here. Sorry I wasn't the one helping you. Sorry I gave up when I should have been fighting." He was crying openly now, not caring, just letting it pour out. Emma's small hands squeezed his. "Daddy, it's okay." "It's not okay. None of this is okay. I should have believed in you, should have been present instead of hiding, should have—" He couldn't finish, just pulled Emma into his arms and held her while everything he'd been holding back for 18 months came flooding out. Maria stood quietly, started to leave to give them privacy. "Wait." Marcus looked up at her, his face ravaged. "Please, don't go." Maria stopped. Marcus stood slowly, faced her, this woman who'd saved his daughter while he watched from behind cameras and disguises. "You did what I couldn't do, what I was too afraid to even try. You gave her hope when I'd given up. You fought for her when I'd accepted defeat." His voice cracked. "How did you know? How did you know she could do it?" Maria's eyes were gentle. "I didn't know, Mr. Chen. I just believed. There's a difference. I've been watching you for weeks, disguised as the janitor, Miguel Rodriguez. That was me. I needed to see who you really were when you thought no one important was watching." Maria's expression didn't change. No shock, no anger, just understanding. "I know." Marcus blinked. "You knew?" "I recognized you the first day, the way you moved, the way you held yourself. You can change your face, Mr. Chen, but you can't change who you are." She smiled slightly. "And rich men don't mop floors the way working people do. You were too careful, too precise. Why didn't you say anything?" "Because you needed to see what you needed to see. And I knew you were watching your daughter through cameras anyway. This was just closer." Marcus felt his throat close up. "I don't deserve her, don't deserve either of you." "You're right," Maria said gently. "You don't. None of us deserve the people who save us. We just have to be grateful enough to become worthy of the gift." She looked at Emma, then back at Marcus. "Your daughter needs you, Mr. Chen. Not your money, not your cameras. You, present, believing in her, fighting with her. That's what she's been missing." Marcus nodded, unable to speak. Maria picked up her bag. "I'll leave you two alone." "Please don't quit." The words burst out of Marcus. "I know I don't deserve it, but please. Emma needs you. I need—" He stopped. "We need you." Maria studied him for a long moment. "I don't quit, Mr. Chen, not when there's still work to do, but things are going to change. You're going to show up, actually show up, not as a janitor, not through cameras, as Emma's father." "Yes, anything. I'll do anything." Maria nodded. "Then I'll see you both tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. We have work to do." She walked out, leaving Marcus and Emma alone in that expensive, empty penthouse that finally felt like it might become a home. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. 2 weeks passed. Emma was walking 10, sometimes 15 steps with the parallel bars. Her progress was undeniable, miraculous even. But Marcus couldn't celebrate it, because every breakthrough, every smile, every moment of joy, it was all for Maria. "Maria, watch this," Emma would call out, eager to show her progress. "Maria, can we do the puzzle again? Maria, will you sing grandmother's song?" Marcus stood in doorways, watching his daughter come alive for someone else, and something dark and poisonous grew in his chest. He told himself it was concern, professional worry. Maria wasn't qualified, no formal training, no certifications, no credentials. What if she pushed Emma too hard? What if the progress was temporary? What if she was giving false hope that would shatter his daughter when reality returned? But late at night, alone in his room, Marcus knew the truth. He was jealous. Jealous that a stranger had reached his daughter when he couldn't. Jealous that Emma laughed for Maria, trusted Maria, loved Maria. Jealous that he'd failed where this woman with worn shoes and tired eyes had succeeded. Friday evening, Marcus came home to find Emma and Maria in the living room, both sitting on the floor, heads bent over a book. And then the little bird realized, Maria read softly, that she didn't need to be like the other birds. She just needed to be herself. Emma leaned against Maria's shoulder. "I wish you were my mom." The words hit Marcus like a blade. Maria's voice was gentle. "I'm not your mom, sweetheart, but I can be your Maria. Is that okay?" "That's better than okay." Marcus stood frozen in the doorway. His daughter had just wished for someone else, had just chosen Maria over him, over Jennifer, over everything. The dark thing around his chest exploded. "Emma, bed, now!" Both of them looked up, startled. "Dad, we're not done." "I said now." Emma's face fell. She looked at Maria, confused, hurt. Maria stood slowly. "Mr. Chen, is everything—" "Miss Santos, my office, immediately." He walked away without waiting. Maria helped Emma into her wheelchair, squeezed her hand. "It's okay. I'll see you tomorrow." But Emma's eyes were already filling with tears. She knew. Children always know when the ground beneath them is about to crack open. In his office, Marcus stood behind his desk like it was a shield. Maria entered, closed the door quietly. "Mr. Chen, this isn't working." Silence. "I've been watching the therapy sessions. You're pushing Emma too hard, creating unrealistic expectations. She's getting attached to you in an unhealthy way." Maria's voice stayed calm. "Emma is making remarkable progress. Her doctors have confirmed doctors can be wrong. This could be temporary, a plateau before she regresses. And when that happens, when she realizes she's not going to have some fairy tale recovery, the disappointment will destroy her. That's not what's happening. You're not qualified to make that determination." Marcus's voice went cold, clinical. "You're a housekeeper studying for nursing certification. You have no credentials, no training, no business making medical decisions about my daughter." Maria stood very still. "Is that what you really think?" "It's what I know, and I think it's best if we end this arrangement, effective immediately." The words hung in the air like poison. "You're firing me. I'm protecting my daughter from another loss, from false hope, from—" He stopped. "From what, Mr. Chen?" Maria's voice was quiet but sharp. "From someone who actually fought for her, someone who didn't give up, someone she loves. She doesn't love you. She's attached to you because you're here, because you're convenient, but that's not real. That's not—" "You're lying." Maria's voice cut through his excuses. "To yourself and to me. This isn't about Emma's well-being. This is about you. How dare you? You can't stand it." Maria stepped forward. "You can't stand that she opened up to me, that she trusted me, that I helped her do something you'd given up on. So instead of being grateful, instead of joining us, you're tearing it down." Marcus's hands shook. "Get out." "Mr. Chen, I said get out, you're done. Finished. I'll have your final check sent to you. Don't come back. Maria stared at him for a long moment. Something like pity crossed her face. I hope one day you realize what you just destroyed, and I hope Emma can forgive you for it, because I'm not sure I can. She walked out. Marcus stood alone in his office, breathing hard, his chest tight. He'd done it, taken back control, protected his daughter from disappointment, from loss, from another person who'd eventually leave. Down the hall, he heard it, Emma screaming, "No, Daddy, no, please, don't make her go, please." Marcus ran to the living room. Emma had gotten herself out of her wheelchair, was on the floor, crawling toward the elevator where Maria had just left. "Maria! Maria, come back! Emma, stop! I hate you!" She turned on him, tears streaming. "I hate you. You ruin everything. Everyone leaves because of you." The words shattered him. Emma collapsed, sobbing. "Please bring her back, please, Daddy. She's the only one who stayed, the only one who believed in me, please." Marcus tried to reach for her, but Emma pulled away. "Don't touch me, just don't." She crawled back to her wheelchair, pulled herself up with shaking arms, and rolled to her room. The door slammed. Marcus stood alone in his massive, expensive, empty penthouse and realized what he'd done. 3 days passed. Emma stopped talking, stopped trying to walk, stopped doing everything except staring at the wall. Marcus hired an emergency replacement, caregiver number 25. She lasted 6 hours before Emma's silence and the weight of the situation drove her away. He tried talking to Emma, apologizing, explaining. She wouldn't look at him. On the 4th night, Marcus sat in Emma's doorway. His daughter faced the window, her back to him. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I thought I was protecting you." Silence. "Please talk to me. Yell at me. Anything." Emma's small voice cut through the darkness. "You didn't protect me. You took away the only person who made me feel like I wasn't broken." The words destroyed him. "I can call her, ask her to come back." "She won't. Why would she? You said terrible things. You told her she didn't matter." Emma finally turned to face him. "You do that, Daddy. You push away everyone who gets too close. Mom, Maria, probably me too, eventually." "Emma, no. Just go away, please. I can't look at you right now." Marcus left, went to his office, pulled up the security footage from the weeks Maria was there, watched his daughter laugh, watched her try, watched her believe in herself because someone else believed in her first, watched Maria's patience, her kindness, her refusal to give up, and watched himself, standing in doorways, watching from a distance, jealous instead of grateful, afraid instead of brave. He'd destroyed it all, the one good thing that had happened in 18 months, because he couldn't handle that he wasn't the hero of his daughter's story. Marcus buried his face in his hands and finally admitted the truth. He didn't fire Maria to protect Emma. He fired her to protect himself, from feeling inadequate, from facing his failures, from watching his daughter love someone else more than she loved him, and Emma was paying the price for his cowardice. Saturday morning, Marcus drove to the address on Maria's employment file. Mission District, a 3-story walk-up above a bodega, paint peeling, stairs narrow and steep. He climbed to the 3rd floor, stood outside apartment 3C, and knocked. A woman answered, not Maria, older, maybe 60, with Maria's eyes. "Yes, I'm looking for Maria Santos. I know who you are." The woman's voice was cold. "You're the man who made my daughter cry for 3 days." Marcus's throat tightened. "I need to talk to her, to apologize, to ask." "She's not here, and even if she was, she wouldn't want to see you." "Please, my daughter needs her. Your daughter needs you, but you were too proud to see that." The woman started to close the door. "Wait!" Marcus put his hand on the door. "Please, just tell her I'm sorry. Tell her Emma isn't eating, isn't talking, isn't trying anymore. Tell her I know I was wrong. I was jealous and scared, and I destroyed something beautiful because I couldn't handle my own inadequacy." The woman studied him. "You're rich, Mr. Chen. Rich people break things and think money can fix them, but my daughter's heart isn't for sale. I know, I'm not trying to buy her back. I'm begging, as a father who failed his child, please. Maria's mother was quiet for a long moment. There's a church, St. Anthony's on Cesar Chavez. Maria goes there Sunday morning, 7 o'clock Mass. If you want to apologize, do it there, on her terms, not yours. She closed the door. Marcus stood in that dim hallway and felt smaller than he'd ever felt in his life. Sunday morning. Marcus arrived at St. Anthony's at 6:30, sat in the back pew, waited. Maria arrived at 6:50, saw him immediately, her face closed. She sat 3 rows ahead, didn't acknowledge him. The Mass began. Marcus didn't hear any of it, just watched Maria's back, her head bowed, her lips moving in prayer. When it ended, he waited outside. Maria came out, tried to walk past him. "Maria, please." She stopped, didn't turn around. "I'm sorry for everything I said, for firing you, for being too proud and too scared to let you help my daughter. You were right about all of it. This was never about Emma's safety. It was about my ego." Maria turned slowly. Her eyes were tired. "Why are you here, Mr. Chen?" "To beg you to come back. Not for me, for Emma. She's stopped trying, won't talk, won't eat, won't do therapy. She needs you. She needs her father. She needs both of us. Please, I'll do whatever you ask. Change everything. I'll be present. I'll show up. Stop." Maria's voice was firm. "You hurt me, Mr. Chen. You questioned my motives, my abilities, my heart. And worse, you broke your daughter's trust in the one person who'd earned it. That's not something you fix with an apology. I know I don't deserve another chance. But Emma does. She deserves to keep believing that impossible things can happen, and she only believes that because of you." Maria looked at him for a long time. "If I come back, things change. You don't watch from cameras anymore. You participate. You do the work. You learn how to be present for your daughter even when it's uncomfortable. Yes, anything. And you go to therapy, real therapy, because jealousy and fear don't disappear just because you want them to. You have to do the work." Marcus nodded, his vision blurred. "One more condition." Maria stepped closer. "You tell Emma the truth, why you really fired me. No more hiding behind excuses. She deserves honesty." "Okay." Maria took a breath. "I'll come back tomorrow, 7 o'clock. But Mr. Chen, this is Emma's last chance to have a father who shows up. Don't waste it." Monday morning, 7 o'clock. Maria walked into the penthouse. Emma was in her wheelchair by the window, her usual position, staring at nothing. "Emma?" Emma's head whipped around. "Maria!" She propelled her wheelchair across the room, crashed into Maria's legs. Maria knelt, and Emma threw her arms around her neck, sobbing. "You came back! You came back!" "Of course I came back. I told you I don't quit. I thought I'd never see you again. I'm here. I'm staying. I promise." Marcus stood in the doorway, watching, his chest tight. Maria looked up at him, nodded slightly. Marcus walked over, knelt beside Emma's wheelchair. "Sweetheart, I need to tell you something, and it's going to be hard to hear." Emma pulled back from Maria, looked at him with uncertain eyes. "I fired Maria because I was jealous, because you loved her and trusted her, and I couldn't handle that someone else could help you when I couldn't. It wasn't about protecting you, it was about protecting my ego, and I'm so sorry." Emma stared at him. "You were jealous of Maria?" "Yes, and I was wrong, so wrong. Maria didn't take anything from me. She gave you something I'd forgotten how to give, hope. And instead of being grateful, I tried to destroy it." Tears slipped down Emma's cheeks. "Why didn't you just tell me that before?" "Because I'm still learning how to be honest, how to be brave enough to admit when I'm wrong." Marcus took her small hands. "But I'm going to do better. I'm going to show up, really show up, not just watch from a distance. Is that okay?" Emma looked at Maria. Maria nodded encouragingly. "Okay, Daddy, but you have to promise. Really promise." "I promise." Emma hugged him. For the first time in months, she hugged him without pulling away. 6 months later, the penthouse looked different. Family photos on the walls, new ones, Marcus and Emma, Maria and Emma, all three of them together, laughing. Emma was walking 20 steps now, sometimes more, her legs getting stronger every day. And Marcus? Marcus came home at 5 o'clock every day, canceled late meetings, turned down deals that would take him away from Emma. He sat on floors doing puzzles, helped with the leg exercises, learned Maria's grandmother's song and sang it badly while Emma giggled. One evening as they finished dinner together, all three of them, Emma looked at Maria and Marcus sitting on either side of her. "We're kind of like a family now, aren't we?" Maria and Marcus exchanged glances. "Yeah, sweetheart," Marcus said softly. "We really are." Emma smiled, the first real, unguarded smile Marcus had seen since the accident. "Good, because I think I'm going to need both of you when I'm ready to try dancing again." "Dancing?" Marcus's voice caught. "Maria says there are 1,000 ways to dance. I'm going to find mine." Later, after Emma was asleep, Marcus and Maria stood on the balcony overlooking the city. "Thank you," Marcus said quietly, "for not giving up. On Emma. On me. You did the hard part. You showed up. We both did." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the lights of San Francisco glow against the darkness. Inside, Emma slept peacefully, dreaming of the day she'd dance again. And in that expensive penthouse that had once been a prison, 3 broken people had found something that money couldn't buy: a family, built not from perfection but from the courage to try, to fail, to try again, to believe that impossible was just another word for not yet. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.